ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वर्स् 276 वैराग्यबोधो परमाः सहायास्ते परस्परं प्रायेण सह वर्तन्ते वियुज्यन्ते क्वचित् क्वचित्. So up to verse 275, Vidyaranya establish so Vidyaranya established that the very knowledge which received from the Shastra is capable of giving this liberation, because Granthi Bheda takes place. So Granthi Bheda means I stop identifying with the Ahankara. Aham will never go. So I stop this identification with Ahankara and I claim as a Shuddha Chaitanya. That's the end of the journey. Because ultimately Atma is ever free. Everybody is seeking freedom. That's only one goal everyone has, that is freedom. And he discovers that I am free. That's all. That's an end of the journey. And even when I claim that I am Atma, well, I require Ahankara. Atma can never say I am free or I am Atma. I am Satchidananda. Atma can never say. Always Atma and Ahankara coexist. Until Videha Mukti, the mixture will be always there. Until Videha Mukti. So every Janma, even Ajnani will have these two things together. Atma is of course limitless. And Ahankara will always manifest when he gets a new body through Prarabdha, etc. So it is there. And anyway, so Ahankara, Atma will be always there. Only so until this Videha Mukti it continues. Even the statement Aham Brahmasmi is done by this mixture, Ahankara and Atma only. All transactions. This is a one transaction. Transaction of a knowledge. Jnana Vyavhara they call. There is a karma vyavahara. Any vyavahara, ahankara is required. And therefore to gain knowledge, ahankara is required. But here ahankara is addressed. That's the thing. Ahankara only is addressed. In other disciplines of knowledge, ahankara is informed about anything in the creation. In this particular, through this pramana, well, Ahankara itself, the very knower is addressed. That you are not a knower and you are Brahman. And Ahankara is Mithya and therefore Satyam will be there. Very much there. In fact, Mithya is Satyam. And therefore, of this all pervading Atma, without that, where is a question of a existence of Ahankara? But it has been told that you are not Ahankara. Due to ignorance, you well taking yourself as Ahankara, where this is Aviveka, etc. You are Atma. Knower is addressed. And definitely if knower is addressed, then knower should employ knower should employ as a means of knowledge, right? Knower is endowed with the means of knowledge. Knower should not be told by any other means of knowledge. Knower can know in himself or herself that I am Brahman. He can never know. Yeah, knower can know something other than himself through means of knowledge. And therefore, knower is always told that you are not knower. In a simple case of seeing my face, well, I see everybody's face through my face, but I cannot see my face. You need an external means. That's how it is. You are able to see everything through your eyes. Why can't you see your eyes? It is not possible. It's not possible. You have to use external means. That's how it is. That's the beauty. And that's how nothing works. You are free to say that you have to employ the means of knowledge called Shastra plus Acharya. That's called Shravana. That is Shravana. Without that, one will never know that I am free. To gain moksha, one should definitely require jnanam, and jnanam is in form of this employing this means of knowledge called Shastra plus Acharya, of course. And so these two things combine. And so Aham Brahmasmi also is known by the mixture. By the mixture. Atma will be always there, and it has been addressed to Ahankara. Ahankara is also very much there. So even after knowledge, when mixture tells that I am Brahmasmi, in that mixture, that Ahankara has done, that mixture has done a Bhagatyaga Lakshana, and disowned that Mithya Ahankaramsha, and he knows that I am Brahman. So I use Mithya Ahankaramsha to know, but I don't claim Mithya Ahankara Amsha as myself. I use Mithya Ahankara Amsha to know, but I don't claim Mithya Ahankara Amsha as myself. Like when you say I am a writer, right? When you use a pen to write, so you don't include that pen in aham. Even as a writer, to be a writer, definitely inclusion of pen is there as in a writer, but still you don't include the pen in I, because you know through the pen you are writing. Your pen, nobody says that. Even if he is constantly employing to introduce oneself, even as a writer, you will definitely require a pen and use it. It is in your hand also. Still in your eye, you know very much clearly that you are not pen. You are not pen. So same way Mithya, this Ahankaramsha is a pen. And so you employ it to gain jnanam. Jnana vyavahara will through Ahankara only. So to gain knowledge. Who Atma cannot gain knowledge. Atma does not have ears. Atma does not have a brain. Nothing is there. And therefore Ahankara is there. Okay, but then only Ahankara. Why you say mixture? Ahankara cannot exist. Nothing exists. Why Ahankara? Nothing exists without Atma. This is all pervading. What can you do about it? So nothing exists without that. In fact, everything is superimposed upon this self. And therefore, Ahankara, when anything you say Mithya or Satya, you have to include. When you say pot is Mithya, you cannot ignore the Satyamsha clay. And therefore, it is always a mixture. And therefore, definitely, so here also, I employ Ahankara and includes Ahankara for knowing. But what he means by word I is not Ahankaramsha. He knows it is Mithya. He takes himself as a Sakshi, Kutastha, Adhisthana, etc. of Ahankara. And so, he claims as Aham, which is free all the time, free from all kinds of limitations, time, place and everything, time, desha, kala, vastu. Anyway, so I am Nitya Mukta Chaitanyam. I am not the mind. I am not the owner of the mind. I am not the mind. I am basically Asangat. And therefore, so I am Asangatma means that Asangatma is Brahman, right? Yeah. So Brahman means Paramatma? Yeah, Paramatma. Then you say this does not belong, anything does not belong to Paramatma? Then who is the owner of all these things? I am saying from the standpoint of the truth of Paramatma, which is Asanga Atma or Brahman. Nothing is there. Yeah, when you look from the standpoint of Jagat, we will say he is the owner. But from the standpoint of Atma or Paramatma, well, from his Swarupa, nothing is there other than Brahman. And therefore, this question should not arise. Oh, Paramatma, that is ultimately, Brahman is Paramatma. Everything belongs to him. And he says even he does not possess even mind also. Then who is the owner? Yeah, from the standpoint of mind, he is the owner. From the standpoint of he, that Atma, there is nothing called mind. Okay? From the standpoint of water, there is no wave. Yeah, from the standpoint of a wave, well, we say wave well is possessed by this water. That's how it is. So this is how from Mithya-amsha and from Satya-amsha and everything. And therefore, ultimately, this should be very clear in our mind that from the Atma standpoint, from Brahman's standpoint, from Paramatma's nature, I mean truth standpoint, when you say Ishvara is Jagat Karanam, then well, from the standpoint of Jagat, we say Jagat Karanam. Not from the standpoint of Ishvara. From the standpoint of Ishvara, he is not Jagat Karanam. From the standpoint of Jagat, we say he has creator and etc. etc. Anyway, so this is very clear in our mind now. So basically, I'm Asanga Atma, and therefore my freedom has nothing to do with these conditions of the mind, because Atma is uncontaminated by these vikaras of the mind, etc. And so, well, with this knowledge, I am Nitya Mukta Atma Asmi. Then, then question comes, well, if I am not the owner of the mind, who is the owner? Well, we will say Ishvara, because now you say you are accepting a mind. Okay, so if you accept a mind, now we'll say Ishvara is the owner. I am a trustee. Ahankara is a trustee. Ishvara is the owner. That's how it is. Ahankara is a trustee. Because Ahankara, well, definitely is not a owner of the thing. Because since the mind is there, Paramatma manifesting as a Ahankara. And then, well, he unnecessarily claims mind as himself, etc. or herself. But I am a trustee of the mind. I had to manage or maintain this complex, being a trustee. That's what it means. Anyway, so till this contract is there, well, I have to maintain this thing. Contract with the Bhagavan is there, right? So body has been given and this mind and everything is given, therefore Ahankara will be there. So Ahankara becomes a trustee and claiming Ahankara unnecessary claims the body as myself, etc. But he is a trustee. Now because he has a knowledge. Anyway, so contract will end when the prarabdha is over. So when, well, as a trustee, I should keep the mind fit and healthy. So for this, we can use various sadhana, including this jnanam, etc. Well, then if you want to do that, what are the sadhanas? Today we are going to discuss some other aspects. Because ultimately, see, this thing is, we should be, here now few verses is addressing a jnani as well as some sadhaka. Sadhaka, well, has to take care of his mind, etc. Sadhaka has to take care of a physical body, health of physical body. Sadhaka has to take care of his mind, the subtle body, health of the subtle body also, that is mind. Mind also should be fit, healthy, etc. Now, the primary purpose of the jnanam is, I am not the mind. So basically, Vidyaranya says, I give you certain disciplines to enjoy the fitness of the mind, etc. That's true. And these particular three disciplines are Vairagyam, Bodha and Uparamaha, etc. We are going to discuss that. So we can definitely employ them to maintain the health of the mind. But basically, as you expose yourself to this teaching, better you claim that you are not mind. Not just keep yourself engaged in all the time in health of the mind. Like some people, used to spend so much of time for the physical body's health. They go to gym also, they go for a walk also, the whole day, they have the whole schedule just to keep the body healthy. So, here he is telling, since a question is asked that, well, but mind, I'm not the mind, that's correct. But you used to tell me that, still you are a trustee of the physical body and therefore you should maintain the physical body. You were all the time saying me. Now I'm asking you, I wanted to maintain even the mind, healthy mind. Well, what to do. So then Vidyananda says, I am going to give you 3 disciplines by which you can maintain the fitness of the mind. But don't remain engaged in that, because ultimately you are not the mind. That is the criteria. And since you are interested in fitness, etc., of the mind, I am telling you basically these 3 disciplines. Anyway, so don't claim yourself as the owner of the mind, even while maintaining the fitness of the mind. So I mean, because certain these verses now will confuse whether it is addressing to a jnani or whether it is addressing to a sadhaka, etc. So that's what I'm clarifying right now. That the person who has jnani has all these 3 in a abundant measure, which we'll see in this verse itself, 276. But the person who is a sadhaka, well, he also will hear this. Oh, I should have more vairagyam, I should have a knowledge, I should have a quietude of the mind, etc. And so, in order of, I mean, he's oriented towards the fitness of the physical body, fitness of the subtle body mind. So, well, his orientation ultimately proves fatal, because you are not the mind, that's the main thing. So, keep this thing in your mind, that you are a trustee of the mind. And so, you for being a trustee, well, you have to maintain. And therefore, ultimately, I mean, so this is how it has been addressed. This is just I want to clarify, because it's quite confusing otherwise. Vidyarani is addressing to whom? He is addressing to a wise person, he is addressing to a seeker, etc., etc. And we are talking about trustee of the mind and etc. So Jnani is a trustee. At a Ahankara level, is a trustee of the physical body. And therefore, you may feel that, well, as a trustee, one has to maintain. Then, what about Jnanam, etc.? Jnanam is the one who has this Jnanam has Vairagya and Uparama also. Therefore, for a Jnani, it is not a big question. And but for others, definitely it's a question. And anyway, so these 3 topics are there, and we'll be seeing that those things. Now, here, he first introduces these 3 things. For maintaining the fitness or health of the mind, what are the factors required? So he says these 3. Vairagyam, Bodhaha, Uparamaha. He first introduces in verse 276. We call Pratignya Shlokaha. Pratignya Shlokaha means an introduction of a topic. What is Vairagyam? Detachment. Bodha, knowledge. Here, of course, I am not the mind, I am Asangaha, etc. That knowledge, of course. And Uparamaha means a quietude. So may you take care of these 3 even after knowledge. I mean, until Prarabdha is exhausted, well, fit condition of, the condition of the mind should have a fitness. Well, so these 3 things you take care of as a trustee. It has been told to the Jnani. And Sadhaka, of course, is addressed that, well, if you want to enjoy the Jivan Mukti, the byproduct of the Jivan Mukti after gaining Jnanam, well, this fitness of the mind is a byproduct of the Jivan Mukti. Mind is healthy, well, you can enjoy better. And therefore, well, you take care of these 3 factors, basically. So, te parasparam sahayaha bhavanti, each one nourishes each other. Jnanam will definitely enhance Vairagyam. Jnanam will definitely enhance Uparama. And Uparama is there, quietude of the mind, tranquility of the mind, or negative. What is this quietude? If somebody asks me this question, what is this quietude of the mind? People feel quietude of the mind means a thoughtlessness of the mind. No. It's actually a reduction of a negative thoughts. That's a quietude. That's all it is. The other negative thoughts only bring all these problems, issues in the mind. If they are less, definitely, then your mind will be quiet. Mere thinking cannot bring a restlessness. Like you are listening right now for 1 hour, suppose, and you are going along with me. And then definitely your mind is just thinking, but not thinking negatively, right? So the whole 1 hour you are having a uparama. That's all. People feel uparama means thoughtlessness. No thoughts. Therefore quietude. No negative thoughts. And everybody's mind enjoy this. And especially like a person like you and me right now, Well, we are thinking something very positively about Atma and all these things, and we are constantly thinking. A lot of thoughts are there, but still, mind is not disturbed. Mind is just going along with this thought process, right? And therefore, this is called Uparama. Anyway, so te parasparam sahayaha bhavanti. Parasparam. This bodha, vairagyam and uparama, jnanam, uparama and vairagya, this detachment, etc., they nourish each other. And prayena sahavartante, prayena, predominantly, in a typical jnani, of course, who has gone through all this stages, sadhana, etc., properly, all three exist in a good measure. Yeah, because of karma yoga and upasana, religious life and everything. And therefore, but in some other jnani, that could be little less, could be here and there, plus or minus, because of his own old punya, etc. And well, he may gain knowledge, but sometime maybe little less vairagya may be there, and but he has understood mithya. And uparama also may be here and there because of rajoguna of the prakriti. We have told you, sadrusham cheshtate swasyaha prakriter jnanamanapi. So his mind is too much active. So therefore, uparama sometime active may be there, and lot of thinking, and because of prarabdha, maybe some disturbance also may be there, but he has understood as a mithya. Therefore, these three qualities generally prayena, generally sahavartante, means they are in abundant measure. If one goes through all this, the jnani has gone through this karma yoga and upasana and everything, then these three will be in a very good measure. But sometime, well, due to daivam, and well, he has gained jnanam with a less exposure and not has undergone all these things in this life. And due to his prarabdha, sometime mind also may have certain fluctuations and all that. He has understood it as a mithya. And so, that's how, well, the fitness of the mind may not be as adequate as that other jnani, maybe. Therefore, such a person, if he wants a fitness, suppose, in order to enjoy the byproduct of this Jivan Mukti, well, he can increase these three factors in order to gain a fitness of the mind as a trustee now. So, how to do that? That is also answered, and sadhaka also, of course, has been taken into account. So, prayena sahavartante means, well, generally they are in a good measure, all these three, vairagya, bodha and uparamaha. But kvachit, Acharya says, kvachit, in some students who have gained jnanam, well, may not have been in a proper measure. One may be more, another may be less, etc., etc. So, kvachit viyujjante. So, in some cases, viyujjante means they are not in a good measure. So, sometime in jnani's behavior, you may find different behavior in which you may feel that this Swami does not have a jnanam, etc. But this could be the reason. So, it is in a different proportion. Of all these three are in a different proportion. And so, but if you are interested in maintaining the mind healthy, it's a mithya actually. But if you are maintaining, well, all these three should be in a good measure. And so this is, and again, this is a warning that we may decide to improve mind, but we improve the mind as a trustee, not owner. But what is this owner? Don't identify. Owner means you identify with what is there. That's called owner. You are not an owner. So suppose you are a sadhaka and you are listening to this, and you are also interested in enjoying the fitness of the mind. Well, but then keep this thing in your mind that you are not the mind. Remind yourself. And as a trustee, you gain jnanam, and as a trustee, you try to make your mind healthy. So don't judge yourself from the standpoint of a mind's condition. Even vairagya is less or uparama is little less or whatever. Don't judge yourself. Anyway, verse 277. Hetu swarupakaryaani भिन्नान्येषामसङ्करः यथावदवगन्तव्यः शास्त्रार्थं प्रविचिन्वता. So, so before taking care of these three factors, well, so he has introduced three factors. Now, here in this verse, he says, better you know these three things distinctly, clearly. Even they are defined in Tattvabodha, we know all this. Like Uparama, it has been defined. Vairagya has been defined, right? And what is Jnanam also we know, and that is Tattvabodha also discussed about that. What is Jnanam has been told there. So Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, Atma Satyam Jagan Mithya, etc., etc. These have been told in Tattvabodha also. So everything has been discussed in Tattvabodha, but you should know it very clearly, distinctly. Uparama should be known as Uparama. And well, Uparama is not known clearly and you mix it with a Vairagyam, etc. That's called Sankaraha. So here it says Yesham Asankaraha. So of all these three, Asankaraha means, well, distinction, uniqueness of each one. Clearly you should know each one. Uparama should be known as Uparama, Vairagya should be known as Vairagya, and Bodha, what is Atma Jnanam also you should know very clearly. Distinctly you should know. Avagantavyaha you should know. Yathavat, as they are. Yathavat, Yesham Asankaraha, Avagantavyaha. Now how to gain clarity? So from this we can understand, to gain clarity in any field, these three factors are required. So to gain clarity in a Bodha, to gain clarity in a Vairagya, and to gain clarity in a Uparama, these three factors are required. He talks about it. And this can be applied in other fields also. What are the three factors? First is the Hetu. You should know first the cause of that thing. I mean, whatever the subject matter is there, you want to know, gain a clarity about that subject matter. First, you should know the cause of that thing. Or a vastu, let us say. You want to know a given thing. You should know what is the cause of it, first. Second thing is, you should know the nature of that thing. Third is, what is the effect of that thing? What is the consequence of that thing? So, well, these three things you should know. Especially this is very helpful in gaining the clarity in situations. Of course, we are going to discuss regarding Bodha, Uparama and Vairagyam. But this is very helpful in gaining clarity in a situations. Sometimes situations, they baffle us. We remain confused in a situations. So these three aspects you should apply there and you can gain a clarity. So Hetu, Swarupa and Karya. Hetu means the cause of that thing. Swarupa means I told you the nature of that thing. And Karya means the product of that thing or consequence of that thing. Like what is jealousy? You want to understand whether the other person is jealous or not. Or you are jealous or not. Let us say that is better. Rather than knowing other is jealous. Let me know whether I have jealousy or not. Suppose. Then what should I do? First, you should know the cause of the jealousy. If that cause of the jealousy you should know first, and that is there in you or not. First. Then what is the nature of jealousy? If jealousy is there, what would be the effect in my mind, etc.? What is the characteristic of that jealousy? So you can understand. So first you determine the cause of the jealousy and apply to yourself whether it is there or not. Then the nature of jealousy, certain characteristic of jealousy, whether you understand it and whether that is there in your mind or not. So that you will know. And what is the effect of jealousy? Well, that you should know, and whether that effect towards a given person, etc., is there or not. You can understand. And by that you will understand whether the jealousy is present in you, there or not, very clearly. Very beautifully he says, Hetu, Swarupam and Karyam. I call it as a C and then N and C. C and C. Okay? C and C. Cause, nature and consequence. C and C. So C and C of anything will definitely give you a clarity of that thing. Now, let us go into that. By the way, here in this verse 277, in the second line it is written pravivichyata. That's a wrong actually. Pravichinvata it should be there. I'll tell you the meaning, because pravivichyata it does not make here. V plus which means to do, discriminate, etc. That is not the criteria here. Pravichinvata means by the inquiring student, not by the student who is doing a discrimination. No. By the inquiring student, by the observant student. Well, what should be done in order to gain the clarity of all the three? Which three? Bodha, Vairagyam and Uparama. He has to employ these three factors, Hetu, Sarup and Karyam, for each one, and he will come to know that, well, this is called Uparama, this is called Vairagyam, this is called Jnanam. So total 9 factors. You have understood? So basically Uparama, all the three you apply. What three? Hetu, Sarupam, CNC you apply to Uparama. CNC you apply to Bodha. And CNC you apply to Uparama, Vairagyam. And so total 9. And now he starts from in 278 from Vairagyam. He discusses 3 factors of the Vairagyam. If you know that, you will know whether you have Vairagyam or not. That's all. This is a question generally, right? And now we will not have to answer. We are not obliged to answer. These 3 factors, if you know, well, you know whether you have Vairagyam or not. You need not ask to any Acharya. First, 278. दोषदृष्टिर्जिहासा च पुनर्भोगेष्वदीनता असाधारणहेत्वाद्याः वैराग्यस्य त्रयोप्यमी. Of these three, Vairagya, Uparama and Vairagya, Bodha and Uparama. First he takes Vairagya. He talks about 3 factors of the Vairagya. Hetu, Sarupa and Karyam. CNC of Vairagya. See the second line. Hetvadyaha. Hetu Adi. Means Hetu, Sarupam and Karyam. C and C are all Asadharana. Asadharana Hetvadyaha. Naturally, you want to gain a clarity of Vairagyam, then you should definitely know the cause which is very unique for Vairagyam. Naturally, then only you can know clearly. So, asadharana you use. Sadharana is a common, not unique, available in all. There is a sadharana karana for many things, right? But asadharana karana, asadharana is very unique for Vairagyam, unique cause for Vairagyam. Asadharana hetvadyaha, asadharana hetu, asadharana sarupam, asadharana karyam. Asadharana CNC. Unique cause, unique nature of Vairagyam, and unique consequence, effect of Vairagyam. Then only we will know distinctly Vairagyam. And so that's how Asadharana Hetvadyaha Vairagyasya Traya Ami. Of these 3, well, this belongs to Vairagya, this Asadharana Hetvadyaha I am presenting in this verse. First, what is a unique cause of Vairagyam? He says Dosha Drishtihi. Thus, Dosha Drishtihi. Like if you want a detachment, you should have a Dosha Drishti. You should not have a Brahma Drishti, you should have a Dosha Drishti. That's all. Brahma Drishti later. First, Nirdosham hi Brahmam Samam Brahma later. To see Nirdosham later. First have a Dosha Drishti. And therefore, well, he says here, so in Naishkarma Siddhi, Sureshwaracharya said very beautifully. He gives an example of a Dosha Drishti, very brilliant example. He says when the person was hungry, it's at 12:30 in the afternoon and he wants a lunch and he has gone to the dining hall. This I'm imagining. Okay? And he goes to the dining hall and he found, as he entered in the dining hall, he got a very beautiful, what we call flavor. flavor of all these bhajis and pakodas, and he loves it. And he already was hungry, and he became very hungry. And as he entered in the dining hall near the table when he went, he found Vimlaji was having all those things, all pakodas and everything, and all fresh and very hot and giving a lot of flavor. And he sat down, and everything was served. And he was about to take the bhaji, first pakodo, whatever. And then, and suddenly some person came running. Swami, Swami, don't take food. What happened? Swami, I found something was has fallen in that oil. I don't want to give name, you understand. That's all. And then I hear the name of that thing, that creature has fallen in this. And that's it. That's it. So much attachment before the sentence. So much attachment to that food. It just became detachment because of dosha drishti. Seeing the poison, seeing the creature, the parts of the creature in that. This is an example of a Sureshwaracharya in Naishkarma Siddhi. We'll see that. Anyway, so he was thinking yourself, well, he's very lucky, he's hungry and he's going to get very good food, and food is available and he's serving and everything. But within a moment, attachment turned to detachment. How a detachment has arisen? The cause is dosha drishti. Okay, it's fine. For example, what about this? Well, this whole anatma prapancha is your food. That's what all the vishayas, shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha, all food. So you should see poison in all this anatma prapancha. What is a poison? Three types of poisons are there in this anatma prapancha. First is what? That whatever you think of, you take as a source of a joy, will give you joy, but will give you pain also along with. Are you ready? No. I want only joy from that. I don't want even an iota of pain, suffering. Not even now, not later. But it has poison, number one. Second, this is a story. Okay. And then second is, even after, well, you look upon this as a source of a joy. It will give you joy, but it will not give you a complete joy. There will not be any satisfaction. That's another poison in that. So are you ready? But where is it told? In Chandogya Bhuma Vidya, there's a not million, billion, $1 trillion sentence is there. $1 trillion sentence. Yovai Bhuma tat sukham na alpe sukham asti. That's all. Yovai Bhuma tat sukham. Which is Bhuma, which is limitless, is a sukham, is a source of joy, source of happiness. Na alpe sukham asti. Anything which is limited, time, space and object wise every way, is not a source of a joy. You look upon it as a source of joy, well, due to aviveka, due to moha, delusion, but there is no joy in that. Still, if you look upon it as a joy, well, it will come along with dukkham, suffering. It will not give you satisfaction because there is no joy in that. And the third also, it will basically put you behind the bars. Are you ready? This every object in the creation will come in your life, will put a shackle, will tie some kind of a, it will tie along with it, it will tie with itself by some kind of a chain. And therefore, you will be behind the bars. Are you ready for that? No. So three types of poisons are there. If you know in any object, these three things are there, three poisons are there, your attachment for that object becomes detachment. So this asadharana hetvadya. So this is a hetu for vairagya. So several statements are there. Pariksha lokan, karmachitan, brahmano, nirvedam, ayat, nirvedam, vairagyam. So nirveda means a vairagyam. Pariksha lokan, examine. As you examine the food and you will find the poison. Then your attachment for the food, for the vishayas, sense objects, will turn to detachment. So this is what it is. Dosha drashtihi. In the verse, dosha drashti is a cause of the asadharana hetu, unique cause for getting vairagya. Second, nature of vairagya, right? CNC. So nature of vairagyam, asadharana, that also, unique nature of vairagyam. Vairagyam has a unique nature. Nature will be always unique. Anyway, so here unique nature of vairagyam is what? Jihasa. So jihasa means, well, dropping the hold of the objects. Desire to give up, deciding to drop the hold of entire anatma as a means of security and peace. Well, not to use this anatma as a crutch, etc. This is called jihasa. It's an internal condition. So this is the thing. And third is a consequence, effect of this vairagyam. What will be? Punaha bhogeshu adinata. Freedom from helplessness or emotional slavery of anatma. Now here you will find that the Swarupa and Karya has not much distinction. It looks like to you. That nature of the Vairagyam also you said, well, you drop the objects. Here also consequence means what? Well, drop the objects. So then where is a difference? There is a difference. He himself clearly told that. The difference is very subtle between the two. Well, nature of Vairagyam is dropping the dependence on Anatma Prapancha. And the effect of the Vairagyam is, when I look at those objects or people, whatever, I don't develop attachment again. That's the thing. Like, I'll give you an example. My own example I will give you. And you will realize that where I stand, really. See, I take, generally this tea in the morning. And I love tea, believe me. So I had attachment for the tea. And in the past, due to my attachment, I have suffered also. And some issues of, health. I mean, acidity and these and that. And so many people have advised me, if you give up this tea, automatically you need not take any antacid and this and that, and your stomach will be all right, this and I have observed. And so after seeing the dosha in taking tea, I have dropped. But then punaha started again. Okay? So there is a difference between nature and effect. So nature is like this. I mean, you drop this tea. It's because you for dosha drashti you have seen, and so you drop. But then again I have started. So Swarupa was there. Nature of that nature of, let us say, a vairagyam for a tea, let us consider, was there. But the effect is not there. Punaha bhogeshu adinata, he says. Punaha. So, having dropped, not going back and becoming slave again. Dropping is one thing. But after dropping, if you take it again back in your life, well then Swarupa was there, but Karyam was not there. Could you follow that? So this is how it is. So you give up the attachment towards another one thing that's called, for a given thing, that is Karyam, that is that is the nature, but the effect is, well, you develop attachment again, or you take that thing again, and therefore, so dropping slavery is a Swarupam, not taking again that slavery is Karyam, effect. That's the difference. These two. So CNC of Vairagyam is over. And now, and okay, and then CNC of Bodha nature, CNC of this self knowledge, we will see Monday. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.